Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another segment of Hollywood Memories. I'm Dan Roberts, the publisher of The Vegas Voice, and my great job is to co-host with my favorite columnist, the other woman in my life, and that is Miss Beverly Washburn.
Thanks.
Oh, no, I thank you, because after this one, I don't know if you're going to let me sit for another one, though. You know what, Beverly? We talked about your career. You did radio. You did TV. You did movies. You had a singing career last of the day. You even did a couple of dance numbers with Jack Benny on the Hollywood Bowl. But one thing that I never asked you is, did you ever do any commercials? And the answer was yes.
Yeah. I did the Head and Shoulders shampoo. I was the one with the dandruff.
You were the one with the dandruff. All right, we're going to show that, but that occurred in what year?
I believe it was 1961.
And let me tell you, we're going to show you the commercial now. It was so good that Head and Shoulders is still around 40, 50 years later. So let's cut right now and let's go to the commercial.
No, he'll notice me all right with his dandruff. Listen, start using Head and Shoulders shampoo. It really works. Work, darn it. Lots more snow than last trip. Lots less here. And my hair's nicer now. Somebody noticed. Well, guess Head and Shoulders ended the freeze.
No snow. Really works. Helps control dandruff with just regular use.
And I guess that was the first of your many commercials. Or was that the end of your career right there?
I did a couple. I did some when I lived in Spain. I did some for Iberia Airlines.
Oh, we got to find those, man. We got to untrack those.
But this one was a fun one. Mary Jane, the other girl, her name was Mary Jane Saunders, and she was also a child actress. And for those of you who are Bob Hope fans, you can watch the movie Sorrowful Jones with Bob Hope and Lucille Ball. And she was the little girl in that, and she was absolutely precious, just adorable, so natural. She was wonderful, and we remained friends up until the time.
And you were friends all that time.
We did a Loretta Young show.
We're going to go into that, too. But it's more fun now to poke fun at you and ask you about the commercial. And, you know, about 2 segments ago, I made a quick joke about when you were in Pit Stop, when you did that shower scene. And then I kidded around and said, well, how many of these have you done? But lo and behold, there was another one.
In the shower again.
And do you recall how they put the stuff in your hair or how many times? How long did it take? Was the water hot or cold? Or
It was just...
I mean, just something, anything along those lines?
Well, I was wearing a bodysuit. I know that was going to be your next question.
It probably would have been, yes, but go ahead.
And then they had a shower thing set up with the water, and it was, you know, a nice temperature. They were very aware of an actor's comfort.
Right.
So it wasn't too hot or too cold. And it was actually the real Head and Shoulders that they used on my...
I mean, how long did you practice saying out, or work?
Just did the scene, you know, a couple of times, and the director was happy with it. So we didn't have to spend a whole lot of time on it. But it was fun, and it was so wonderful working with Mary Jane, and we were friends. We had done a Loretta Young show together years ago called The Big Little Lie, in which we played friends at school.
And when you did that, again, you were teenagers, but yet you were both veterans because a couple of years earlier, way back in January 1954, 6 years or so earlier, you worked with Loretta Young with Mary Jane.
Right. Yeah. And the nice thing is that we stayed friends over the years. Sadly, she passed away a couple of years ago, but she was married to Jay Johnstone, Dodger fan.
Right.
You remember him? He was one of the Dodgers, and sadly, he died from Alzheimer's, and she died shortly after.
Shortly after?
But she was adorable.
So, do you recall when you came in to do the commercial? How was it done? I mean, did you come in as a pair? Did you do singularly? Or, hi, it's nice to see you? Or how was that done?
Well, we were friends, so we would always talk on the phone and everything. So we both got a call. We had separate agents, but both of our agents sent us on the same audition. So when we got there were probably about 30 other girls in the waiting room waiting to go in. And we sat next to each other because we were friends. And so when the casting person would come out, he would look around and say, okay, you two ladies next. And they'd go in, and then they'd come out and go, okay, you two next. And we just happened to be sitting next to each other. And so rather than going you and then you over there, they just said you two next. So it turned out really well that we both got the part because we would always root each other on, and it was fun to work together.
And did it take a couple of days, or was it one day, one afternoon?
Days.
It took 2 days, though, for a 30-second commercial like that. And, you know, and when you did a commercial, only because I've known you all these years, and yet how'd you get this part? How'd you get that part? You used to say, well, I used to cry a lot. I mean, that was your big thing. You were able to cry. There was no crying. It was just playing with your hair and just moving it around.
Yeah, it was. I was thrilled to get the part in it. It was a fun commercial, and then of course working with Mary Jane made it even more fun.
And again, you mentioned earlier is that years before you did the Loretta Young show with Mary Jane, Big Little Lies. And here's the thing: by 1961, you were a veteran of many, many years of doing stuff like this. And yet, when you go on to Loretta Young, tell us a little bit about Loretta Young, because you knew her very well, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Didn't we do a segment?
We did a segment on it, but just very
I
quickly.
could talk about her forever. She was like a mentor to me. She was an amazing, lovely woman, and she was very hands-on because, as we talked about earlier, everybody has a job to do.
Right.
And most people will just let the other person do their job. And then they all have different unions. Like the prop people can't touch something, a wardrobe, and the wardrobe lady can't touch the
lighting or something. Yeah.
the lighting or whatever. But with Loretta Young, it was her show, and she was very specific about what she wanted. So she would have her hands in everything. She would be right there. If she wasn't in the scene, she would be standing right next to the director and also tell him a few things that she'd like done. She was in the wardrobe room. She was in the hairdressing department. She just wanted it a certain way, and it was her prerogative. It was her show.
But you know, you say it's her show, but in the 50s, women really weren't considered as equal partners.
That's true.
You have a director, producer saying, hey, lady.
Yeah, but it was her show, and she wanted it a certain way. And so she was always very sweet about it. It wasn't like she would demand anything, but she wanted everything to be just so and perfect. And so she would always put in her 2 cents with whatever department, whether it's the hairdresser, change her hair a little bit, or the makeup, she's got too much makeup on or not enough or whatever. She would always kind of nudge them to do their job, even though they were doing a great job.
Yeah, and again, I mean, your episode, season 1, episode 19 of the Loretta Young show, January 1954.
I know.
No, you don't know, but you were a little tiny little kid there. And how many times did you tell Loretta, do it this way or do it that way? Did that ever come up?
No. You're so funny, Dan.
Yeah.
No, I was never brought up that way. I was always brought up to respect your elders and just do as I was told.
And she didn't give you a hard time? I mean,
Oh, no.
you can see from the scenes, there was, when she was holding you and hugging you and caring about you, it was a real tenderness.
Yeah, she was a lovely lady, and I talk about her in my book, and she was like a second mother to me, just a warm, wonderful, just an amazing woman, and I was so honored to not only know her, but to befriend her, and that, she would invite me to her house for dinner. She would send me gifts. She was just a wonderful woman.
It's a wonderful woman.
Well, very blessed to have known her.
And again, she was a star in her own right. She was I remember as a little kid watching her. She goes through the door when she welcomes people in, and she wore this nice dress and gown and everything. She was just a classy lady.
Really, what's funny though, looking back, she was a chain smoker, and now hardly anybody smokes, thank goodness. But back then, there was one scene in the series, which at the time it didn't seem weird because it was just what she did. But looking back, she played a widow with 7 children, and the youngest one was played by a little girl named Tracy Stratford. And I want to say she was about 6. And there's a scene where Tracy is sitting on Loretta Young's lap, and Loretta Young
Just hucking away.
with the smoke going into, but nobody really said anything at the time. But looking back, it's like, oh my gosh, that
You have a lot of those moments when you look back and say, oh my God, don't we?
to see her smoking and this little girl on her lap, but it didn't seem odd at the time. Now it does.
It does not. All right, so one last time before we end this segment, I kidded you when you did Pit Stop and you did the shower scene, and I said, how many shower scenes have you done? Is this it, or there's more that we don't know about?
I think
This was it. All right, so we're going to hunt them down and find it. And it just shows you how lucky I am, because not only, let me just say this now, this is our 35th video segment.
Is it really?
Yeah. Wow. Isn't that something? And this month marks 15 years that you've been the other woman in my life. And I just want to thank you for putting up with me.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, not many people would do that. And Beverly has. So I thank you for just being a columnist. I thank you for being who you are and for allowing me just to co-host it and everything else. So I thank you. And this is Dan Roberts with Miss Beverly Washburn saying, we'll see you again next time.
Thank you, Dan. Thanks for watching, everybody.